Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another RGL cast. My name is Jarrett, and I'm here with Dreambro, bringing you MyAnimeList After Dark versus Pootis.org. Two teams early on in the season that are very hardly trying to get a playoff spot and against this very large amount of teams that, you look at all these rosters, there's a lot of decent players that you could look at and be like, yeah, they could be playoffs. Oh, that could be playoff teams too. But out of like the six, seven that have decent rosters, only four can make it. So you definitely want to have a very solid victory at the beginning of this season when you're pairing these two teams against each other. How are you doing, Dreamboat? What do you feel about this match?
I honestly don't know what to feel, and that's kind of the beauty of this season. I did a little research when I figured out, I was coming back, gonna roll out the old caster chair, sit down and hop on a couple games this season, and I took a look and I'm skimming through these teams, and you're right, it's so many of them are deep. They look like they could make that playoffs. So I'm staring down these rosters, I'm like, okay, this is a playoff team. This is a playoff team. Wait a second, I've now counted too many teams that are playoff teams. That's not how it works. So this really could be a really close game. I think it should be. On paper, they look like they're close teams, and that's really excites me because it's good to be backcasting TF2, and nothing's better than TF2 when it's close.
Yep, it's always nice to see a very close match, and if there was any match that you'd be seeing lately, I'd say this is a pretty decent shot at being a good one. We'll have to take a little bit to get the server info here up and running, but for now, we can talk about what map we're actually playing on. I think it's important to talk about where we've landed because, some teams have a favorite when it comes to the map we're playing. We're currently going to be playing Process for this match. Both teams opting to get rid of Koth right off the bat and go ahead and go with something pretty cookie cutter, so it should be a pretty straightforward match when it comes to strategies, I would imagine, at the very least.
And it's definitely nice for me to roll back in and be like, oh no, this is it's a map that I'm familiar with. We're not going to Bagel and I've got to sit there and be like, I don't even know what I'm staring at right now. No, it's the old classic. Although, with some of these maps, they're no longer becoming the old classics because we're getting those refresh versions. They are almost the same, but they still almost feel different.
This is very true. This is Process F7. This is the refresh version of the map with little small changes for quality of life things like clipping or maybe some doors depending on the map, but nothing very major, just enough to make things right. So overall, it should be the Process that we all know and love. It shouldn't be anything too crazy, but maybe occasionally you might notice a thing here and there depending on where you are in the map. But I'm sure for these teams, they're probably going to be okay in terms of any form of changes they have to deal with. They've been streaming this map the whole week. I know both these teams have had some decent luck with a couple other Process matches being the story for this week. But let's go ahead and go over some of these rosters for some of the players you might not recognize depending on how long you've been watching. I'll go ahead and go over the Pootis.org roster. It's going to be Yosh and Shemu on Scout. It's going to be Mirrorman and Crypt on Soldier. It's going to be Jingo, aka Junie from Spy Kids, on Demo, and Virgil on Medic.
Oh, it's Dingo. Of course it's Dingo. That was the one that threw me. The Junie from Spy Kids. Over on MyAnimeList After Dark, we have Kevin Alpha on Scout. Trip is your roamer. Glimmer is your pocket soldier. Psy on Demo. And Asian on Medic.
A pretty stacked roster on both sides. You look at both these rosters and you think, oh yeah, like we said before, both playoff teams, but it's not necessarily set in stone. So win here would be a very good start to your season. It's week 3, but it's still the start of your season. You got play each team 2 times, have to make sure you win both of them against some of the more difficult teams to land yourself in a nice safety net for the playoff run later on. Gotta talk about predictions though. Both these teams are very close. It could really go either way, but a lot of it comes down to, the map you're playing and who showed up today. So we have some predictions going out in the chat. Seems it's a little bit swayed towards Pootis.org, but I don't know. What are you thinking, Dreamboat?
Quick question. That Crypt, is that your former teammate Crypt?
That is
from back in the
Kryptonite.
Rewind days.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. That honestly, that combo, that set of soldiers between Crypt and Mirrorman might be enough to sway me on this one. I think it probably will be Pootis. Scouts, a lot of talented scouts on the server, but anytime I see Crypt in a server, I'm a little fearful. Same with Mirrorman. So let's go 5-3 for Pootis.
I'd say that's pretty fair. Honestly, like I said before, it really could go any way. I think it kind of depends just on the day you're playing. I would give a slight edge just to Pudis.org just because of the map that it is. I think that Process is probably slightly better suited for their playstyle and what they're trying to do, and at least what they've done so far, practicing throughout the week. However, you know, with the teams being this close, who knows? Maybe the scrims that both teams literally played today is enough to tip things one way or the other. But really, only time will tell. We're gonna have to see how strong both teams start out in this first half, as we are going live in the third week here between Pudis.org and MyAnimeList. Should be a very interesting mid to set the pace for this very important game. Go ahead and take it away, Dreamboat.
Well, we're getting wet and wild as they slip and slide straight through mid, through those chokes. A little bit more aggressive positioning right now from Trip, further ahead for MyAnimeList. He's going to grab a pack, fall back around, and we're waiting to see where that big set first initiation comes from. Long range spam for the time being. No one wants to bomb in yet. They're poking and prodding, and here comes Trip, and now Mirror Man is sky high. The air shot coming out, not going to connect. As a couple kills get traded back and forth, it's just a pair of soldiers down. Trip still trying to reaggress here, trying to find any of these kills as Kev eats a pipe. He's so very hurt. He will be cleaned up by Shamu. That is a brilliant pick, but Yosh gets traded back immediately. These have gone back and forth. Finally, Shamu will fall, and with no scouts on the field for Pudis, they need to run away. Mirror Man falls. His side gets a nice pill off, but it looks like Virgil will escape.
That was a really nice play from Scythe at the end there. It doesn't seem like he's done. He's trying to go after Dingo, but Dingo is already way out of there. That was a really nice mid from MyAnimeList. They're able to make sure they're able to get the kills they needed despite Aizen being so low. He immediately got dropped to like 50 HP at the beginning of that mid, and it was really difficult to put himself in a decent position to heal a lot of his teammates, but they did it with the health they had, and it was definitely enough for them to win mid and even take 2 here. Although we are at a stalemate, it's not a steamroll straight into the last, so Pudis.org, they get a chance to, you know, set up some defense and get ready for some sort of stalemate breaking that's going to be happening. I can only imagine that MyAnimeList will be taking lobby here as Trip begins to try to work his way towards 5 and get a lot of damage on the crit, but no kill quite yet, just some space for their team. Gotta definitely spot at what kind of defense is being shown up, although Trip, in his attempt to try to spot the defense, dies to a sticky trap. We have initiation coming from Yosh trying to maybe do some sort of counter sack, but is ultimately not going to commit too far. It doesn't seem like the Pudis.org is the type of team, from what I've seen, to necessarily jump the gun on their counter sacks unless it's really, really good, so wouldn't be too surprised to see like a little bit of, you know, if something doesn't look too great, not going to go for it per se. They're definitely more used to this style of play where they have a sniper and just, you know, play it slow and methodical, you know, pressure cooker the other team and really make them impatient to making a mistake trying to break into the last. But everything is all respawned out. Mirror Man's on spy, checking some stuff, but it seems it's going to be initiating through one that's not watched on to Crypt. Is going to be able to collect that kill, and Junie has to be careful. Nice rock on into Virgil, and it doesn't seem like they noticed that Trip was there, hiding behind the wall, able to get that force, and that's going to be ultimately very successful for them. Yosh going down too is not very good. It's going to be really all down to Mirror Man here for any sort of actual play that's going to prevent them from pushing, but Matt looks like they're already ready to go.
Don't think Mirror Man's going to get in there. He's just trying to long-range revolver here to get the force. That's somehow delayed them enough that the spawns are actually going to come up, and Mirror Man's getting out? What did I just witness
probably
there,
the best play you could do, but oh, Virgil falls down, almost dead. Gonna be able to hit the bind and make sure that she's okay in spawn. Scout getting on the point, trying to put some cap time, but immediately cleaned up, and Trip is the last one that's in the thick of it. He's gonna barely escape through one, almost chased down by Yosh, but Yosh is also not healthy himself, so a little bit of a sticky situation there. Kind of ruffled your feathers a little bit trying to deal with the spy, pick a door last second, but ultimately not what MyAnimeList needed. Still have a spy on the side of the red team, so they're definitely opting for that, but I think it's just checking for off classes and back caps and the like. I think they probably know that Kev is on sniper at this point because they've checked on spy, but this ad should be pretty gargantuan. Junie going in very, very deep. Nice combo onto Sai, able to collect that kill as well as Glimmer, who is inside sewer, so an Uber for 2 kills. Take that any day of the week as Mao. All they really got in their defense now as a sniper is Pudis.org begin to barrel their way through the choke.
Yeah, this can get real hairy if they don't escape. They are going to be bombed, pressured out, and they are going to lose alpha for it. Oh, Kev takes so much damage. They can continue to steamroll, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're looking for it. Crypt is going deep. He's found Kev already. He's on the medic, but the spawns are coming through. Oh, but the force, it's the perfect timing. Glimmer's not able to find that kill, and the Uber is popped out the other way. All they're going to find for that is Crypt, and now they're backpedaling with 30 disadvantage.
They only got 3 people alive, too. There's no way they can hold this long term. Mirrorman's in deep. Nice rocket and A's and popped into the air. He's going to be able to fall, but a couple lost. You down true. Don't want that to happen. Glimmer is going to fall, but Sai is just definitely in the thick of it, really trusting his team. And now it's Junie that's going to be completely alone. It seems like red team's on the same page. They're going to be able to try to get out through Al-Qaeda, but they're very, very weak. One last stick. He's not going to be able to hit the mark. Ver's going to take the pack, but they're still barreling their way into sewer, desperately trying to get out the best they can. Only 2 people left alive on the side of the red team as the rest of the respawns are coming in. Soldier really deep onto the point. Vertil's stuck in no man's land, eating a stick. He trying to dodge as best he can, but is going to eventually fall to Kev. Going in deep once more, trying to take him 1v1 inside IT. Going to fall to Yosh, being able to clean him up, but ultimately they've spent so many players on the side of Mal to get this 1 kill that now a red team has the players to push their way onto 2. Shimu trying to add some extra pressure to allow his team to get in, but you have to make sure your health is okay to be able to take this, and it seems like they're going to be good for now. But Mal, they have this ad to use, and it seems like the barreling through upper lobby onto Junie once again, in way too deep, able to collect that frag. With no demo down, this shouldn't be too hard of a push with ad and no traps for the side of Mal.
Their kingdom for a horse. They tried to sell out for the Uber, and it may actually have worked out in this case. That late demo pick is massive, and now they are starting to barrel their way out onto second. Yosh is in behind. Oh, it's the trap from Sai, I believe, that caught him. It may have been a sticky spam. Nonetheless, they find that kill. That could have been incredibly hairy. Crypt is hiding. Of course he is. Will he find any of these kills? The Uber has popped out here trying to find anything barreling through mid. Nothing to be found for the time being. But with Crypt behind, they could be a pincer coming in here. Full Uber up on Virgil. They're trying to get in, trying to deny this point, hoping that maybe they force these players away. The cap does come through, though.
Yep, a little bit slower pace. Want to make sure that they don't do anything too quickly. Crypt is going to start to be on the move a little bit. Not too much, though, as the team begins to work their way through choke, trying to take it slow and not necessarily use the Uber. Both their scouts are red hell. Shamu is going to fall, but they're able to get some kills in return, so all for naught. Trip is going to fall as well, so 3 kills ultimately. I'm sure they're okay losing 1 scout in the trade of 3, and they still have this Uber ad to work with. Begin to work their way through the enemy choke onto 2. It's going to be pretty solid of a retake here, trying to trap up the spawn and make sure no one's hiding in it. Savage is going to go ahead and resup and going to not opt to stay inside, go ahead and back spawn, so seems like they're going to be okay. Giving up 2 for free, Mal is, and Putus.org on the same vein is going to be okay with not biting off more than they can chew, and we're back to another stalemate, except roles are flipped this time. Instead of Mal owning the opposing 2, Putus.org is in the driver's seat getting ready to take whatever off classes they can to go ahead and try to crack this hold, and it seems like there's a chance we might have our first sniper duel of the game. Kev's on sniper, Yosh spawning sniper. Neither team, I don't think, is necessarily sure that is happening, but we're going to have to see how long it takes for some heads to be clicked, as probably lobby is going to be the case here for the sniper play. Yosh has already taken his first shot, so his presence is known on the off class. So we'll have to see how long it takes for the headshots to roll in and picks to be gotten. Lobby has been taken up by the red team, at least for now, trying to make sure that they can be able to get some space for their sniper, although if you want to do anything more to the sniper, this gun is definitely going to have to go down. So blue team definitely trying to hold these doors the best they can to make sure no one can spam down the gun and the sniper can't get any insane angles. Yosh taking the staircase, Kev also kind of peeking somewhat around the same angle. Might be a duel soon enough, but only time will tell if it will be the sniper that'll be the one that dies, or it'll be some other class somewhere else. Sometimes you focus on these snipers so much you forget other things, but Yosh is going to be able to click the first kill into Kev. It's going to leave a little bit of an opening, maybe one door, not necessarily watched, that red team can take advantage of. Blue team has to make sure they're not spreading themselves too thin here, trying to spam down this gun. Crypt's going to almost get it from 2, and that would give them a lot of space to be able to break this hold, but it seems like it's going to be 5 that is the play that's happening. Oh, Yosh actually getting killed there at 5, didn't realize that was going to happen. I guess 8's a little bit of some spam that was meant for his own soldier. Is now blue trying to work their way in. Trip just jumping in to see if he can cause any havoc, but not going to find any luck there. It seems like we're back to square one, at least for now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one in.
Ooh, Mirrorman actually trying to go in, not going to find. Ooh, that's actually find the force. He had a scout with them. That was Shamu. Again, they sell out a little bit with the double sack in there, trying to get the force, and it works out in their favor. The awkward spot here is Josh is on pipe. Sniper again. Yeah, that was a weird pipe. I didn't even see where that launched from, and it connected directly.
Yeah, just straight from upper lobby right into her face. But no follow-up. Don't really have a whole lot of people ready for that. So pretty inconsequential. But they do have this full ad to use. No off classes this time. Gonna get ready to finally bust into the blue last once for all, as their entire blue team is pretty much set up in their nest. So getting ready to take lobby and go ahead and bust through probably either 3 or 4 here.
Uber is popped off right now, getting ready to come through. They're trying to get on the gun. They get it immediately. Excellent execution there, trying to find it. Now they need to get the kills to follow it up. The heavy is out on the field. It is taking so much damage, but still they're going to be finding these kills on the Mirror Man. Down goes Dingo as well. This is a crumbling defense. They found the gun. You do at least kill Asian, and now they can back out and reset, but they're still bleeding players here. It's just 2 scouts and a medic. They need to keep Virgil alive. That is the goal. That is their sole operation right now. And it looks like they might have to concede 2 in order to do so.
Yep, not exactly what you want out of your Uber Ed scenario, but at least the silver lining is at least you killed the medic, so you can maybe have a chance at retaking 2 here. It doesn't seem like they're actually, no, they are going to take a try. I was seeing they're kind of eyeing it, seeing if they were going to take it or not, but blue team don't have heals at all ready to actually put a defense here, so realistically, even though they lost it, they just take it right back because of how late the medic death was, so back to a repeat of the previous scenario. Decent ad going in last, picking through about the same door, trying to jump through 4, getting onto the soldier and the gun, a little bit stuffed somewhat, but trying to go onto the point immediately this time. Double cap time times 4, and that is enough. Noticing the last time that Mal was so passive they could only get the medic, they're just going to go for the point in this instead this time, and that's going to allow them to collect the first round of this game.
The duality of last push is you either sell out for picks or you play the point. Playing the point this time worked out in their favor. And they managed to grab the round, and now back into this next mid, we have the spam coming through. Sai getting a couple nice stickies off early, but still not able to find too much onto the opposing demo man. No aggression early, they're just playing around, dancing through, trying to see where this spam can land, see if there's anything to go off of. And finally, it is now Trip going in deep, trying to find a kill, but he gets clutched up by Shamu, immediately annihilated, and now will they find any other kills? Looks like Glimmer might be in a bit of trouble, and in fact, Glimmer will fall, so this is starting to come down. Alpha could be in trouble. Oh! Mirror Man hitting the roof with the rocket. Nice kill there.
Oh, Kev's going for the play, though. Forcing the MG on mid, trying to block it, but Yosh is going to be able to win that. Definitely guitar taunt earned on that point is all for naught, so it's a decent attempt at a play, but not going to work out in their favor. Trip getting chased by Mirror Man, trying to put some extra damage on him to create some chaos. Is going to allow Crypt to get in really deep, but not quite sure where Aizen is. Going to not be able to find what he needs. Getting the demo pick on the side is really nice, though. It seems like frags are being collected all over the place on the side of blue team, which you wouldn't expect. They're definitely still trying to press the issue, poking through these doors. Have to make sure they do this quick, though, before Sai spawns, and the player advantage goes back in the side of the blue team for this last, but I think they realize that they can't overstay their welcome inside the lobby doors, and go ahead and play it safe, go back outside, wait for their 2 respawners, and I think since Pudis.org has seen that Mal is not actually pressing the issue and poking around any of these doors, gonna go ahead, go back to what worked last time, go ahead and put Yosh on sniper, force this sniper duel. It might take a minute or 2, but it could maybe give them the results they need. I'm sure they're okay playing at the slow pace as long as it's able to net them rounds at the end of the day.
And for new players, I mean, shout out to what Shamu did there last couple times. Ooh, as Yosh gets a nice headshot on the Trip. But Shamu's been holding up the shutter when he respawns so that Yosh can come back and swap to sniper. Still play, but oh, Kev's gonna shut him down there. So a headshot back the other way, but the Uber is popped out.
Virgil's not even there. That was blind. They just assumed Virgil was in there, and it's just a random demo Uber that's gonna be all for naught. Just Uber waste. That was a... They were very, very much banking that Pudis.org was still in lobby, but they were just too slow.
Yeah, that... I think they just saw a sniper and were like, well, we're gonna get in on him. We killed the sniper. Let's go. Oh, he was just... The buff was fading, and he wasn't actually 185? Oh no, this is not what we like. And now with that full Uber, they are going to start moving. The Uber's popped out here. It's got to get in on the gun. It's a little bit further back. Takes a little bit longer to go down, but they are going to try getting the scouts in, and that baits these soldiers forward. They're trying to deny the kills, though. Nothing has come through. The heavies back up. The scouts back on the point, and that's all that matters. They cap it out once again, and it's now 2-0 for Pudis.
Yeah, similar but a little bit different than last time. Sai just left the little nest dead, no stickies on point, just get on it and capel. A lot of people are still alive. It seems like focusing the point is good enough for them to be able to take these rounds so far, but a little bit of changes on mid could change the pace and put them on their own last if they're not too careful. Soldier's going fast, but a sticky trap is placed right where Crypt was going to land. It's a nice play from Sai to immediately grant them a player advantage, and Pudis.org is definitely smart enough to know that they need to just get out of dodge. Lose your Omer right at the beginning of the mid, not even worth playing it. Gotta be careful about IT controls. That's where he's normally sitting as Trip's beginning to put a little bit of pressure out, but you have to make sure that your mid is capped as well. So this scuffle is only really a 5v5 spam, but Trip getting through lore, immediately stuffed, not able to put enough damage on the Virgil to have anything happen. So just a little bit of a sack attempt based off the fact that Crypt wasn't there, but now red team have a little bit of space to move on their own. The Ubers are going to come into play very soon, so it might be worth it for another sort of sack to come in and immediately Crypt in through IT, not spotted. No one was watching that, able to collect 2 Alpha and A's, and so a very, very nice play from them to allow them to get some space on a mid here, and another late death from Kev trying to get out of dodge in through IT, but not quite around the corner fast enough, so big player advantage, big Uber advantage. The cards are all falling in the side of Pudis.org for now. The question is will it continue?
Crypt and Mirrorman are bad men.
No.
As Mirrorman is in so deep, Sai in a lot of trouble. Shimu's just gonna get in there. Free kill. Actually, it's Yosh coming in behind, getting Glimmer as well. And now this is looking like an absolute crumbling for MyAnimeList. These two soldiers have done so much work, and the scouts are benefiting at the end here, reaping rewards. The Uber has popped out. They're trying to get in. Gun should go down immediately. It is down once again, and now they're just going to step on that point, baiting these players forward. No one can get there. And again, with so many players alive, that is a third round that they just grab by stepping on the point.
That was just a snowball. That was a almost free last just from a giant misplay or miscommunication on whether or not they were going to exist on 2. You know, things didn't go well on mid. Okay, back up to 2. Now, are you holding 2 or not? You have half your team there and half not. Miscommunication, you lose 2. 2 people aren't there for last. Very, very easy to just continue what they've been doing. Just get on the point and cap, and that's the story so far, and they have to make adjustments if they want to make sure that they can go ahead and flip the script and put themselves in the lead. You got to remember, you can't just use this half to, you know, okay, we'll make this even. We'll go like 2-2. If it goes 2-2, the other team wins. You have to completely turn things around, take everything that was making you lose, and start converting that into rounds yourself. You're looking a little bit at the stats here. Some very, very nice plays and stats coming out of Pudis.org as well as the medics themselves. Decent damage coming out of both demos, but instant ready up. It seems like MyAnimeList knows already what they want to change, as well as the side of Pudis.org knowing that they don't need to change very much themselves. Although, actually, I think this is... Yeah, okay, this is just a bait. I was wondering if the config was wrong and they restarted the round but kept their old spawns, but no, this is just a bait. Okay, so we have a little bit more time to talk about some stuff. Good. So maybe they weren't completely sold on what they wanted to change. That was a very, very quick ready up for a relatively convincing 3-0. I was kind of just joking when I said that, you know, it's understandable. No, you probably have a lot of to talk about when you kind of get swept in 15 minutes, 3-0.
And it's so standard how they're being swept too. It's great damage coming out from their demo, strong damage from both of the soldiers, and that just allows, you know, my UGC Iron Scrim partner Shamu and Yosh to come out and just get all these cleanup kills. It's a systematic shutdown right now coming out from Pudis, and on this mid we'll see if MyAnimeList, they have an answer. Do they have anything in their back pocket, Jarrett? That's what they're looking for. That's what they're trying to find out. We saw a nice sticky last mid on Crypt. Not going to land this time, so it's full strength right now, and they're all clumped up. Everybody on MyAnimeList is in so much trouble right now. They are going to find Mirrorman as the heals hasn't done a great job of healing up. They've lost so much ground. They need to get out, but it's Kev coming in behind. He's getting right in there. Oh, but shut down with the big time pipe.
Oh, the shot from Trip, though, definitely salvaged at the end there. He doesn't have to make sure he is living, and he's doing that himself, just leaving mid entirely, leaving his team in the dust. Alpha is the last one left alive, facing 2 red players, but Junie's going to take him down, so good play from Dingo there. That was going pretty good from Pudis.org at the very beginning, but near the end, things got a little bit, I don't know the right word for it, but it seemed like there was a bit of a difficulty trying to actually figure out who you wanted to focus fire, and I think that's what allowed Trip to come in at the last second, just snipe Virgil out of the sky. So, despite losing the mid fight, Mal's in a pretty good spot with full Uberad to begin to work through the mid here, but have to be mindful about the Crypt spy. It might be a second for him to come into play, but if they're not too careful, he could get a chain stab in the best case scenario here. Oh, the Shanks! Not
He
quite
tried
enough.
so hard.
Caster's cursed. Caster's cursed. So, it seems like they're really hedging their bets on the spy play, but it seems like Al-Qaeda is going to be the move for now from the blue team, immediately launching through Sky straight in the air, very, very deep. Not able to clean him up per se, but that's considerable since, you know, you're down 1 yourselves, but immediately Uber coming out of the side of the red team. Probably did not expect an Uber ad to be that small, but it makes sense when you're going it from 2 to mid to 2, so makes sense that it was a very, very small window, and Psy dying there is definitely not good for the side of the blue team as Red begins to barrel their way through the choke, trying to put some damage on these scouts to make sure they can't deny. Trip trying to bomb in to try to create some space, but not going to be able to find anything too much. Just a little bit of time bought for the side of his team. Sai's on the way, trying to make sure he can get there, but it's not going to be enough for the red team to be able to get some space on the side of the crates and get some good high ground to put some spam. Glimmer getting bombed, going to get shot down by Crypt. Nice direct rocket from him, as that's going to be another pick for the side of the red team, and I think Blue have realized that the fact they don't have their entire teamer is not good enough for them to hold on to this point. So, gonna go ahead and back up on their way to 2. You have a pick to work off of, but it's pretty close to Uber's, so you have a couple different ways of taking this, but it seems like it's gonna be a little bit of a drive push, or at least some sort of distraction play on the side of the red team here. The Uber immediately comes out of the blue team, assuming Virgil's gonna commit. Once again, these Ubers assuming Virgil's gonna be standing in a certain spot, but they're not quite correct. Able to eventually get the Uber pop out, but it's a very, very late Uber on the side of the red team, getting them a lot of space. Alpha trying to create some space for his team, but ultimately not gonna be too much for him. Crypt is a little bit too deep though, is gonna die, so a little bit of a scuffle, still coming down by 1, fighting. Some spams, High holding his ground, trying to put some damage on the team, as Shamu is gonna be the one that dies on the side of Lobby. So it seems like Buddhist.org, they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. They went really, really deep, and it ultimately led to 2 people down. So with this player disad, it should be a pretty clear and cut push for the blue team trying to work their way back into mid.
Oh, that's a late pick on Junior from Spy Kids, though. That could hinder their efforts to even hang on to second right now. Yeah, the Ubers are even, but it's so difficult if you're down a demo to even try and deny this. If they go quickly, will they go off of it without Glimmer? It looks like they want to. In comes Trip straight through Choke. They're going to start putting that pressure through. Will they find any kill that they need? Crypt going right in on top of the Medic Q. He's mulched. Mirror Man down as well. This is going to be second going the way of MyAnimeList Dark. And they want to roll through. They want to take this. They want to commit. No soldiers, no spam. Let's just walk straight through. That's what they're starting to do. Starting to get in. Oh, but Sai took so much damage there. That was the Yosh sniper. They're getting right in. They're going to find Virgil, though. It's heartbreaking. It's a drop. That's a +2 in the chat, everybody. And now they can just back off and wait for their spawns to come through.
Yeah, definitely thought that was going to be the only sack that was coming in, but 1 and 2 weren't watched, and Kev just comes around the corner, 1 shot, 1 kill, 1 drop. So, no Uber for the side of the red team, as Azen does have his Uber ready to go, just waiting for his players to arrive, which they have got to get buffed up and probably take Lobby here. 1 hasn't been working out too well for them, so Lobby will be trying to make some space. Glimmer is, and Crypt's gonna go ahead and back off, but barreling through 4, trying to work their way onto the gun and get some good damage onto it to eventually kill it. Working on the cap, moving some stickies off. Nice shot onto Alpha. That's 1 scout down. That's 2 scouts down. Their entire team is crumbling off the bat. 3 dead as soon as the Uber ends, and that is not what you want to see. You have the invulnerability to get you in there, but you need to make sure you can live, and so far, Boost.org is definitely showing that they have the defense to be able to hold on to their last, holding on to 2, and probably taking mid here.
Yeah, Mirror Man's starting to jump through, starting to put the pressure in as around come the rest of his team. I think everyone's going to be able to get out here, though. Bit of a weak jump from Trip, but he still is able to live. But, man, that last push, it's like they saw what Putis did to them for the last 3 rounds. Like, yeah, let's just try standing on the point. But there were stickies there, and then there was a sniper there, and it really did not work. The Uber is going to be forced out by Glimmer, right up in their faces. Upper lobby, now they are starting to roll through. They've got second being capped. They might even want to try and carry this through, but the Uber is going to be up formation here, and now they'll be able to walk back in. MyAnimeList will be Uber's out.
Dingo
will they find these kills? He's somehow living for so long, though, and it's because the player's going behind.
Back.
So many people, they're selling out for this last push. They're trying to get in here. The health is so poor on everybody. This might just be a stolen round. It could work out. The scouts, they're not finding these kills, though. Still, the remaining players, they're walking in. They need to find kills. They need to find anything. They're trying to do it. It's coming down to the wire, and they will steal a 4th.
That was a 2 or 3 man back cap that they allowed to happen. You gotta make sure your setup is good. I mean, it was probably rushed because they wanted to make sure they could Uber out right off the bat to be able to catch anyone that was still there, but if you don't have your setup, it's going to be hard to do pushes like that, and it goes to show that it can be really detrimental. You're at match point right now. Dingo shot up in the air, able to kill a demo at the start of the mid, but you got to make sure that things are still staying like that long term. Soldier Bomb coming up the red side. They know have to play this fast pace now. Their demo is dead. Azen is going to die, and so is Sai, so just have to make sure your medic stays alive as Virgil working her way towards IT, and with 2 people left alive inside the red team, they're going to bolt their way to last. And although they've lost this mid, they've secured an Uberad to eventually re-push it back as soon as their teammates spawn.
And couple nice rockets there to get the air shot. I thought that was going to be what opened it up, but no, they just stayed in that murder corner. their demo, their medic. A scout was with them as well. The scout, I don't know how he lived, but they just collapsed right onto that corner. And MyAnimeList lost 2 pivotal players, and with that big Uber ad, they should be able to easily grab mid here. Trip's starting to come forwards, trying to get in there, trying to find a kill. Trip's trying to go in behind, though. Takes the fight with Mirror Man. Ooh, he actually wins that. Nice rockets by Trip. Shamu's gonna fall as well. This is actually all backfiring. Nice kill by Yosh there. Still, 2-for-2 trade when you have full Ubers. Not really what you're looking for.
Yeah, blue team will get the respawners much quicker if they find a way to prolong this for as long as possible. 4v4 right now, seems like ultimately they're going to be leaving, except for Glimmer. He's going to try to go for a solo play, but immediately denied from Yosh, who's able to take the high ground just in time. So still have this Uber, but not necessarily add anymore. Azen has had his buy now, so the only thing you really have to work off of is the pick that you have of the Pocket Soldier. A little bit less pressure on the side of the blue team, so we're going to see the red team begin to go ahead and start working these doors. You have 2 on IT, you got 1 demo in sewer, so definitely able to make some space, and make some space they are. Yosh is behind, and I don't even think they know per se. He's go ahead and all the way at last, working his way towards 1. I don't think they know, because maybe they're starting to think about it, but Crypt is going to go in. Not able to find anything quite yet. Yosh is hiding in 1. They didn't see him. They checked it, and he's just hiding with the ammo pack, so they weren't unable to find him. So blue team beginning to pressure their way through the choke. I think they're going to go ahead and let Crypt spawn before Yosh does anything, so it's not a 2-player advantage for the side of the blue team, which is pretty smart. So go ahead and let Crypt get there. Maybe cause some spam a little bit. Mirror Man's going to jump in for a distraction, and Yosh is going to go in, able to get the force on Azen, but it is going to be a 2-man, which is a little bit rough. It's not the best, but it is doable. The red team is going to go ahead and back up and try to lock out the doors the best they can, because blue team is definitely going to be on the move in some capacity to these doors.
So unlucky for Trip as well. The second he jumps back to clear upper is when Yosh comes out and makes his presence known. Just unlucky timing for him. You hate to see it if you are a fan of MyAnimeList, but now time is also going to start being a factor in this match. Yeah, we got 21 minutes left. That's a ton of time for the time being, but if MyAnimeList are able to kind of keep this round going, they still have to grab 4 if they want to tie this. Not win this, 4 to tie it. That's not fun. Getting in on Virgil is going to help. Lose a soldier, sure, but he's actually still got another mech. They're doing a lot of work. Can they find anything? No, they're just going to bleed the soldiers. Scouts should be able to walk in when they feel like it, but I think they're going to wait for the spawns, and that gives second back in the hands of Pudis.
Yep, have this Uber ad to work with, but you have to make sure your soldiers stay alive. If you push now, you're going to have to deal with a potential back scenario like last time, so definitely want to make sure you got everything all aligned and ready to go, but it seems like they're showing their cards. They've been sitting in lobby forever, so I think by now they know it's going to be a lower bomb from Sai, able to get some decent damage, but not necessarily any kills, and that's what you expect when you stand at a certain door forever. Mirror Man is still find his way behind. He's able to not necessarily get anything, but is definitely drawing eyes to allow the red team to work their way back in. Only 3 people on the point because of how many people had to go back for last, and all this space that the blue Uber got is all of a sudden just flipped backwards, and now red have a decent chance to try to spam. They do have a player disadvantage though, so they can't actually commit onto 2 here, but it's enough time to make sure that the blue team isn't able to set up completely with buffs, and now they have the Uber ready to go. They have to make sure their soldiers are here and get ready to push with them. Seems like going to be a sewer this time. Sewer push going through Al-Qaeda, trying to work their way through, not wanting to jump in right off the bat. Have to be careful about these double soldier bombs from last time if they're going to do that though. Decent damage onto them, and the blue team is extremely passive all by 1. How are you going to damage the red team if you're that far back? They've sacrificed a little bit of health, but nothing more than that. Is they're trying to work their way towards lobby, maybe potentially use this, or at least thinking about it, but it's dwindling real hard. If they go right now, they're going to be Ubering into basically a completely set up team, which is not going to be too good for them. So we'll have to see. I think they've kind of recognized that it's a bit, it was a bit too slow for them to actually go in, so probably back to a stalemate scenario now. Is they're playing safe. You know, they don't have to play recklessly just because they have, you know, a decent advantage in terms of the score. So we're back to where we were at the beginning of the game. Stalemate with 1 team on last. No gun this time, so it might be easier to peek some of these doors. And actually, no sniper on the side of Pudis or Org yet, so we might see a 2-man soon or something along those lines at the very least.
Crips in position. Oh, he gets spotted out there. He had a chance to walk in. Instead, it's going to be Yosh going through. He just falls. Mirror Man's in a lot of trouble. He's a very dead man here as Alpha cleans him up. So there's your 2-man, except it really was just a bleed 2 instead of actually sack 2. But now, Alpha, he's so high in the air, but he is actually going to find Crypt. The Uber gets popped out here. Now this is looking great. They've got 3 picks on the back of it. Sure, a lot of these players are well out. I don't think they'll get on Virgil, though. They're not getting anywhere close. It should have been good, but instead they've popped out. They're now at full disadvantage. They don't even grab second. This is, as Marxist would say, they're in the sad zone right now, Jarrett. And in come Putis. They get the kill on Kev. They're trying to find a few more. Yeah, they get forced out. Who cares? Trip's dead. Now they're getting in onto the point. The cap is coming through. This should be all she wrote. They need to find the kills, though. And in comes MyAnimeList. They're getting shut down, and there it is. 5-0 Putis.
A very, very decisive match coming out of Putis.org. I thought it would be much closer, but it seems like they definitely have processed down, at least for this match. So with a win there, it's going to set them in a good position and a nice safety net to be able to work their way towards their playoffs goal for near the ender portion of this season. So hats off to them for this victory, and Mal, they're gonna have to do the best they can to make up their losses now later on in the season.
So here's the thing, Jarrett. I'm sitting here. I walk in. You know, it's been a while. I will fully admit I have not been around in TF2 as much as I should have been or had been in the past. I have some preconceived notions about some of these guys. Apparently, in the time I've been away, Yosh has become even more of a machine. Like he was an okay scout when I left. He is a good scout now, and it showed. And, you know, Shamu, he was a good player on Velocity. Top 4. Here's the thing. He works hard. He has kept developing. I looked at this, and I'm like, you know, Kev Alpha, I'll give my scout edge to MyAnimeList Dark. That's a mistake. Don't sleep on Yosh. Don't sleep on Shamu, and that was my mistake. I knew Mirror and Crypt, great soldiers. I knew Dingo, great demo. But holy hell, Putis is a lot more complete than I thought they were.
Yep.
Wow.
And the scouts are going to be a very important part, especially when it comes to process in particular. It definitely shows that Yosh and Shamu are definitely pulling out big numbers in terms of collecting kills without dying. And speaking of collecting kills without dying, Dingo doing that like once again, as well as a high DPM stat. So overall, very nice plays coming out of them. MyAnimeList, some things left to be desired, but although, you know, you shouldn't really expect really pretty stats if your, you know, team got 5 VODs, so not too much to look at there, but ultimately it's something to look back on and try to adjust more than just the stats, more so towards your gameplay when you get ready for the future, because that's all you really can do. Just got to look towards the future and try to make sure that it's the reverse outcome next time these two teams face.
I still can't get over this, Jared. It's like, oh man. Could Putis, like, are Putis gonna be that team that just kind of transcends expectations and is your finalist this season? Like, that's a possibility?
Well, anything's really possible, honestly. I mean, it's really difficult because we're early on in the season, and both these teams, you know, I'm sure a lot of teams had rough beginning weeks because you're still, you know, trying to figure out how your team is supposed to play. And once you've thrown everything together from the off season, and that's something to think about too. This is really early on. Team synergy comes into play very, very heavily in the later portions of the season, where all these teams have had a decent amount of time, you know, a month or two to play with each other and against other teams, learning other teams' strategies. So, you know, there's still some chances to, you know, try to poke your head back, even if you're on the backswing in terms of winning early games. But the safety net is definitely very, very nice, and I'm sure they're very happy with the fact that, you know, even if the next matchup Putis.org loses it, or like for example, you know, it's still 1-1 at worst. You can't hate that.
Well, let's just put it this way: they're in a pick ban right now. Circle their next match. It looks like it's Putis versus Froyo. Circle
Definitely a tall order.
That is going to be the statement. That's those matches. I mean, you can't put too much stock in a regular season game versus Froyo Tech, but it always gives a little bit of insight. Is this team actually going to hang around with them, or are they a pretender? Yep, and anytime you get a team into that matchup with Froyo, that's always been my question is, I don't care. I don't expect them to beat Froyo in a regular season. I don't really care. Even if they do, I don't really care. It's, are they hanging around, or are they a pretender? Are they going to get dunked on, or is this for real?
That's very true. And at the same time, you also have to think about MyAnimeList. You know, now you have to think about their playoff run, because if you're a playoff team, or if you want to be a playoff team, you have to look at all these teams and be like, okay, we can only lose so many times to a couple different teams. And so far, they've lost to 2 teams that they probably, if they want to be in playoffs comfortably, need to beat. And so far, they're losses. So far, they definitely are not in a very good position. It's not unwinnable, but it's definitely more salvage than anything. So they're going to have to definitely put in some effort for the second half of the season to make sure the mistakes of the first half don't come back to haunt them a second time. But we do have Virgil here. We're getting ready for an interview after her very nice win off of another contending playoff team. Virgil, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, happy we won. Felt pretty good. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about process. You don't have to reveal all the strats of your team, but what led you guys to forcing the map towards the more cookie cutter angle rather than doing something weird and exotic?
I think a lot of it came down to what we feel Mal's weaknesses are. So we kind of went with that, was probably the biggest aspect of things. Alongside the fact we had been scrimming a good bit of process recently and just felt really comfortable on it. I think we were less concerned about taking the map to process because we didn't have final map pick. I think it was Mal that had final map pick. We were more concerned about just getting maps that we feel like they would have just had better strengths on out of the map pool. And then with the last 3 maps, we all felt pretty okay with them.
Makes sense. We also have Shamu here. Hello, Shamu.
Hello.
Let's talk about expectations for this match. You look at both these teams objectively on paper, and they're not too far apart in skill level. But when you guys got in the server and started to play, it definitely showed that there was a little bit of a gap, at least when it came to this match in particular. Did you guys expect this to be a really hard match, or did you definitely have some strats that you were getting ready to pull out that you were thinking that was going to catch them by surprise to give you an edge so early on?
This is definitely the match that we've prepared for the most, I'd say, so far this season. We got in Mumble pretty early, and we were going over a lot of strats and thinking about what we wanted to do. And our scrims went really well, and we were able to execute all our plans pretty well. So I'd say I personally felt pretty confident going into it. I didn't think we'd 5-0 them. That's for sure. I don't think anyone expected that, but I definitely felt confident that we were gonna win.
All right, well, this is for both of you. We're obviously very early on in the season, so it's really difficult to tell where everyone will really land. But what are you guys expecting so far for your first half of the season? Are you expecting pretty decent results, or is it going to be a little bit of a climb? Because we have a lot of decent teams this season. A lot of teams that are going to be difficult to beat, even though they are beatable. So it's really anyone's game in terms of who is actually going to be on top and who is going to be more of a bubble playoff team. Where do you guys see yourselves, and what are your aspirations for the first half of this season when we hit week 4 or 5?
Well, we've had a lot of our playoff deciding matches here in week 3, against Witness and against Mal tonight, and then also against Global Clan Fire, and those are the 3 teams that we viewed as contenders with us for playoffs. So it's we were hoping that we could get out ahead early, I guess, in the season. It's nice when you can win your important matches early in the season. It gives you kind of a breather instead of having a super stressful match in week 8, or even 2 stressful matches week 7, week 8 back to back is really draining. So ideally we can cement ourselves into playoffs, either 3rd or 4th seed early on, and then we can maybe focus on just our playoff matchups. That would be ideal. That's what we're hoping to do, I'd say.
Quick question as well. I saw a lot of people just kind of musing in Twitch chat, and we even took the time to kind of muse about your match upcoming with Froyo. Is there a date on that yet? Do you have any idea roughly when that'll come in? We all want to know. We all want to see how you stack up.
I think we're gonna get 5-0'd by Froyo on TBD. I mean, both me and Banny, I think I scheduled for our team and Banny for his. I think the few times we have discussed it, we've just both been busy with other matches, so we haven't really looked too much at the date for that. It'll hopefully maybe be next week, but most likely will probably be week after next. Is probably my best guess. I'll have to talk to Banny some more.
What we do know though is we do know that your match against Global Can Fire is upcoming though, right? I think it's tomorrow. I think we're gonna be casting that
Yes.
too. So
Oh.
it should be interesting to see. To see if your performance here will repeat into the next map as well, and see if your expectations will be met. But I think that's mostly it for us. Do you guys have any shout outs while you're here?
Shout out to my team. They're really good. I like them. I think that's it.
Shout out to Alpha.
Actually, you know what? Shout out to both of you guys casting and Dolphin. Shout out to Jared and Dreamboat.
Oh, thanks.
I'm glad you're back
Aw.
casting, both of you.
Oh yeah, I was
Thanks, bro.
surprised when I saw that like you were casting. I know like you probably have no idea who I am, but when I started watching TFT, you were still casting a good.
Oh God, now you're making me feel old here.
No, it's no.
No,
It's good.
it is good to be back. Honestly, still love the game, still love the community. I do have bad news, I guess. I don't know how active I'll be able to be for the rest of the season. I actually go to Vancouver tomorrow for pre-op, and I'm having eye surgery on Friday to correct for cornea degeneration in my right eye. So I was always kind of a degenerate, so it made sense that my cornea followed me through with that. But yeah, so I'll be on the shelf. No bright lights, limited screen time. So I might try and make exceptions here and there and see if I can get back for a game or two. But it's honestly been super great coming back to do a game in this community. Is as welcoming as always. So shout out to them, and of course, shout out to my UGC Iron Scrim partner Shamu.
Oh yeah, 2014. Let's fucking go.
Hell yeah!
Are we allowed to curse? I just realized. Oh well.
Hey, what's done is done, my friend. What's done is done. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching, and make sure to show up tomorrow for another match to watch. Should be interesting to see and definitely going to be important for playoff implications. But that's been all for us. You've been seeing a Shamu and Virgil interview cast by Dreamboat and Jarrett with Dolphin on production, and we will see you guys next time.